Hi, Mark T the Handyman here. Today we're going to see if we can't get our furnace ready for winter. First thing we need to do is need to check out our thermostat. This particular thermostat is a Nest thermostat, and it does heating and cooling either separately or at the same time. Right now it's in the cooling mode. We're going to switch that over to the heating mode. Our thermostat in the heating mode is set at 72 and it says it's 69 in the house. And once it gets past that 72 mark, it turns the heat on. Now it does have a program that we've had in this thermostat since we got it. If you have a programmable thermostat, then you need to check your program to make sure it's what you want it to be. If you have a thermostat that requires batteries, now might not be a bad time to change those batteries. Right now we're going to leave this so it does not come on while we do some other checks on the furnace. By the way, when you turn your furnace on for the first time this season, there might be a slight burning smell. That's really just the dust and whatever spider webs might be on that heat exchanger being burnt off. It shouldn't be anything to worry about, and it will stop after a couple of minutes. So let's do a visual check of the furnace. You want to check to make sure that there's no debris lying around it. Any kind of thing that might have been stored over there over the summertime should be removed. Check to see if there's any water leaks. In this particular case, we have the humidifier water, and on the other side is the condensate water from the air conditioning. Make sure that the piping is solid. This right here is the inlet air, and this one here is the outlet air. This particular furnace doesn't have a flue that goes into a chimney. It actually has air that's sucked in and then used for combustion and then goes out. Another thing you want to make sure you have is that the combustion air inlet is nice and clean and unblocked. And then the combustion outlet is clean. Make sure there's no combustibles like paint or spray cans being stored on the furnace or around the furnace. If you've got a shop vac, it's not a bad idea to vacuum up around the furnace and on top of the furnace just to clean it up. Now that we've got the cover off in the combustion chamber here, I would suggest looking around and make sure there's nothing down there, any critters building a nest or something that seems to be out of place, and give it a little dusting just to have good housekeeping there. You don't have to get really fussy about it, but I always like to keep the combustion chamber as clean as possible. There's nothing in here that I see that's unusual. You know, everything seems to be tight, nothing just hanging there, nothing burnt. Obviously, if you find something that's out of place in a big way, that's burnt wires, you need to call somebody about that. So now we want to check our humidifier. The humidifier is located on the return side of the furnace, and it adds humidity to the air of the house during the winter season because of the fact that the air gets drier when it's wintertime. One of the things, when you do turn the humidifier on, after we put this all back together, you want to have this damper open. That allows the air from the discharge side to come through here and go through the humidifier pad. So we're going to keep that closed. Next, you want to take the humidifier pad out. This one should be fairly clean. I cleaned it before I took it out of commission for the summer. This has a little distribution panel right here. Gets the water and distributes over the pad. Like I say, you can either clean these or replace them depending how old or how bad they look. And they come out fairly easy. They just slide right out. You can take that to most hardware stores and get a new one. And then you just put it back together. somewhat tight, but that's what you want. You also want to line this drain hole up with this drain hole too. That's how the water gets to the drain line. And there we go. And like I say, we'll open that up once we get the cover back on. It kind of snaps into place there, and we'll open that cover right, or the damper right now. Get that ready. And that's all there is to the humidifier. Next things we want to do is we want to turn our humidifier on. It's off for the summer, and they recommend anywhere between 40 and 50. I think that's a little high for our area. This is southeastern Michigan, and I usually turn ours around 35. And you can adjust it as the winter goes on. If you find a lot of condensate on your windows, you might want to turn it down just a tad. The next step that we have is to change the filter. First, when we change a filter, and actually when we work on the humidifier too, we want the power off. So the power is already off right now. It's just a simple switch over here. And you want to take the old filter out and take a look at it. If you can see any dirt that's up there or not see through it, or can't see light through it, then you might want to consider changing the filter. In this particular case, it's pretty clean. We just changed it. You always want to go with the direction of flow. The direction of flow is from the return air to the furnace itself. So there's an arrow right on there, and we're going to make sure that arrow is pointing that way and put this back in the furnace. And then we can turn the furnace back on. The next thing you need to do is to check your CO2 detector. If you don't have one, you need to install one. They sell this type, which actually is a combination fire alarm and a CO2 alarm. In this case, this is an electrical one, but there is a battery in there that needs to be changed. If you have something similar to this, make sure that you change the battery. If you don't have anything, they do make some that plug into an outlet. In a furnace room, it's really a must. Here's a punch list for what we did today. Well, we've got this furnace checked out and ready for winter. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up or a like. If you want to see more of my videos, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.